Yo.
Wait, okay. No, we are good. Okay. I still, every time I have to make sure that we are correctly, recording all the right things, all the audio, everything it's the way that it's supposed to be.
Well, KQ, it's another Thursday.
It is indeed another Thursday.
Some car ball to talk about.
Indeed. John, how's it going? John, I put it in our Google Drive, but I neglected to post it anywhere else. But John made us a Christmas themed ball skin for Rocket League.
Ooh. Need to check this out.
Yeah, hold on. I will. It's this one. Let me save the image. And then I will post it in the Discord in general. Nope, that's a sticker. How do I'm just trying to add a picture. Bear with us as we continue on, but here we are.
There it is. Yo, that is sick.
Sorry for the ping, John.
That is awesome.
Yeah, but it looks pretty sick in game. The colors change on the lights on the ball and on the decal like they do when the ball moves around the field. Like when it's orange, then like the light flashes orange. When it's blue, on the blue side it flashes blue.
That is insane.
It's pretty cool.
So cool.
It's an add-on for the Alpha console for Bacchus Mod. So if you have Bacchus Mod, you have the ability to use this if you so desire.
Okay.
Just like our Dominus, Octane, and Fast 4-Wheel Drive, and Fennec decals, and our goal blocker. So, but it is now a little past 8:30. Are you ready to jump into this one?
Let's do it.
Heck yeah. Okay.
Hello and welcome to the Boost Over Ball podcast, your go-to place for everything Rocket League with your hosts, K-Cube, AJ Binky, and Red. So lean forward, lock in, and get ready to go Boost Over Ball.
Hello and welcome back to the Boost Over Ball podcast. To listeners new and old, hello and welcome to the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Kyle, K-Cube here on the left, and on the right we got Red. How's it going?
It's going good.
So I feel obliged to say the off-season that keeps on giving is still in full force, but we have some non-off-season things to talk about, including the online free play update that went live on December 4th, which is one of the reasons that we're recording today instead, so that we could have a chance to try it out and give you our thoughts. We'll also be talking about the FIFAe World Cup Day 1. We'll be giving our thoughts on Day 2, and then, the rest of the weekend, and we'll be back at you next week with a full recap. And we will finish off with Red's roster rumors and overtime, if anybody has any questions for overtime. So, first and foremost, title update, probably the biggest update in, 2-3 years?
Yeah, I mean, at least content-wise, it's the most content that's been added, besides, back when they added hoops, drop shot, and all that extra.
Yeah, to a competitive playlist, exactly, yeah. But, so, for people who haven't checked it out, for people who don't know what we're talking about, hey, Zoe, how's it going? But, for people who haven't checked it out, it's basically a partied version of free play. So everyone in your party can hop into a free play match, and the party leader can manipulate the ball. So launch, take control, roll, dribble, things like that. Only the party leader can do that. So you can kind of mess with some of your friends if you so desire, if you are so inclined to do so. But the biggest, positives for this that I've noticed is you can queue directly into matches from in free play with everybody. You can also use the party online free play while you are queuing or waiting for a tournament, which I think is a very good addition because notably there's not really much you can do when you're waiting for a tournament to pop. So have you had much time to play around with it? Have you jumped into a party and done it yet?
I did. When it first came out, I tried to hop in a party and it was broken for some time until probably like a couple hours after the update got released. Hopped into a party with like 3 other of my buddies and we just kind of messed around. It's fun. You can definitely mess with people with like the manipulation of the ball. I remember we were trying to go for a cool like freestyle play, and our buddy yoinked it out of the air from us and reset it, and everyone just started yelling at him. So it's a fun time. I think I like it purely because it's just gives you something to do in between like ranked games. You could hop into a free play with more than one person. Work on passing plays, trying to hit each other, because that way it's a little more human, right? You can only do so much with like training packs and free plays. With like receiving passes or taking shots, putting stuff off the backboard. This way you can kind of try to set that stuff up and get that like chemistry going, how fast your teammate's flying or how he's feeling that day. So it's very nice. I enjoy it. Hopefully, they continue kind of like adding more content to the game instead of reskinning stuff and adding new items and stuff. Definitely a great step a good step forward. But I like it. It's a little confused that it took them this long to add it, but glad it's here finally.
Yeah, me too. Better late than never. I guess it certainly seems to be trending in the right direction that we did get such a big update. So, seemingly almost randomly, right? Like they've been doing a better job recently than they have in a long time of like giving people things that they maybe have asked for in the past, but like aren't banging the door for, right? Like the boost meter, I don't really know of anybody that was banging the door for that, like for your teammates, but that was a fantastic change. And a couple other things like that. So, credit to them for making some changes for the better. I think this is a good quality of life update for everybody. But my big question is, do you think we'll see more freestyling in party free play now than maybe we will in some other modes because of this?
I can't necessarily speak on this because I'm not a freestyler myself, but
Fair. From
what I've heard talking with some freestyler friends of mine, a lot of the like merit to clips, a lot of the like merit to like cool clips is like doing it on like other players and doing it in an actual match. So I'm sure we'll see some like outlandish stuff, people going for like septuple reset musty, like all these ridiculous things. But I think it'll still stick to probably them doing it in casual and the occasional people.
Fair. I mean, it at least for somebody that has definitely been highlighted before in casual, you can kind of hope that it doesn't happen to you again. But I think you're right. I don't think that there's really maybe the occasional clip of your friends just screwing around and you do something really cool and you're like, oh my god, there's a clip. Yeah. But
there'll be some new like physics where like, oh, I didn't know the ball or the car reacted that way, and people start going full on like scientists on it and trying to figure out what's going on.
Exactly. But lastly, on the new content, first and foremost, we have to say a couple of things. Go claim your free purple Squishy Saver player title from the community tab in the item shop. It's like 4 tabs over from the featured on the right. And then secondly, a reminder to everyone to go complete your free play challenges to redeem your Power of Friendship player title, and more importantly, your black DCs, which before trading was removed, a couple $100. Now the trading's removed, maybe not that impressive anymore, but still nice to have in your inventory, and they do look great. So that's really the biggest things from the online free play. Did you have anything else that you wanted to add now that that message has been deleted?
I can't imagine being one of the people that like before trading got removed spent a good amount of money to get black DACs to now have them gifted essentially for free to everybody. Like the mauled and just anger I would be experiencing would be absurd.
No kidding. I mean, I the most money I think I paid for or was going to pay for an item was from AJ. It was a beta nugget.
Oh geez, yeah.
But we ended up doing a trade instead. So that's but like before trading went away, I was like, I want one of the beta items just because I'm never gonna be able to ever get it unless I buy an account with it on there, and I'm not doing that because that's gonna be astronomically expensive. Yep, exactly. So, cool that they're bringing some of the more sought after items to players, either via the item shop or via the challenges or things like that. But there's certainly some things we have to talk about after FIFA's over, before RLCS starts, in terms of item shops, in terms of decals, things like that. But that can be its own episode. We don't have to talk about it here. FIFA E, are you ready?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Hold up. I'm ready.
So, for most people who listen to the show, I assume that you would know, but the FIFA E World Cup featuring Rocket League started this morning at bright and early at 7 a.m. In Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. The format is a little bit different than something we've seen before. They had 2 8-team groups, and each team is going to play 14 best-of-2 matches to determine the top 4, which will move on to a best-of-7 playoff. So best of 2. Go ahead.
It's more like just like a set of 2, because it's not best of 2. You play both games.
Fair. Okay, you play 2 matches, so each team will play 4 matches against every team in their group. If you get 2 wins out of 2, you get 3 points. If you split it 1-1, you get 1 point, and if you go 0-2, you get 0 points. And the top 4 teams will move on to the playoff bracket, and the tiebreaker, most notably, is goal differential. So when it rains, it pours for a lot of these teams. So you will see teams tryharding until the very end to try and get some extra goals, just to kind of go through their, to try and pad their goal differential up a little bit. But we will start out with Group A. Today was the first day of group play. Tomorrow will be the second, on Friday the 6th. So we are halfway through the groups. So we will give an update halfway through and give our predictions moving forward for the rest of the tournament. So currently in Group A, in first place with 17 points, we have the Netherlands. In second place with 13 points, we have Saudi Arabia. In third with 12, we have Belgium. In fourth with 11, we have Spain. Fifth is England with 10. Sixth, Germany with 9. 7, Australia with 1 point. And South Africa also tied for 7th with 1 point. With that being said, every team has played every team one time. What sticks out to you from Group A that maybe you weren't expecting, or that, maybe you did expect?
I think I got 3 things that are really kind of standing out to me. Is that, one, Netherlands showing out. They are playing lights out Rocket League. They were expected to probably be a top 4 team, but to come out and go 5-2 on day 1, it just wasn't really expected out of them. Now that being said, just looking at some of their results here. So 5-2. The only time they drew with anybody was against Saudi Arabia, which makes sense. That's Team Falcons. And then their other one was most notably against Team England, which, to kind of go into the next one, Team England not really doing so hot. They're 2-4-1, meaning they've won 2 series. They drew 4 of them and then lost 1 of them. So maybe it's just England being slow starters and not being able to really finish out the series. Maybe it's just day 1 jitters. But Team England, who the EU hopefuls for this group, have not really not really shown out as we were expecting. And then finally, I say probably one of the bigger disappointments is Team Australia. Team Australia right now is doing as good as Team South Africa, which if you put that into RLCS terms, that is abysmal, uncharacteristic of them. Hopefully they can bounce back day 2, but it is looking bleak and dreary for the Aussie.
Indeed. I think that we're kind of starting to see some of the, I don't know if flaws are the right word, but like some of the how the different teams are performing. So I think Saudi Arabia, which is Team Falcons, has a tendency to start out a little bit slow against a lot of teams. They lose the first game, then they win a lot of series 4-1. You can't do that here. You can't start slow because you're then at the best case scenario you're getting a draw. So the Netherlands, which is Oli, Jorias, and Mike Boy, have done a fantastic job of starting quick, and they're playing incredibly. And I can't say that I thought that they would be top spot. They still have not dropped a series of 2. As you mentioned, they just have 2 ties against England and Saudi Arabia. But I think that they've played fantastically. But I think England, with only 2 wins and a full loss to South America. No, that's incorrect.
It's like South America is a continent.
It is. You're correct. But also it's not even South America. So England drew with Saudi Arabia. They sweep Australia. They got swept by Spain. That's a big one for them. That's the team that they're fighting with, in my personal opinion, for one of those top 4 spots. They have the same goal differential, but they're 1 point down due to having 1 less win. So I think there's definitely a lot to play, a lot still to play for, right? So England still gets to play Spain tomorrow, and if people watch the broadcast throughout the day, a lot of teams said, well, we don't really have a lot of film on these guys, but like for tomorrow, like we'll have a lot more film. We'll know what they're wanting to do. We'll have a better game plan of how to play against these teams. But kind of the first day was really like the feeling out process, the like let's see what's going on here, kind of, which is what the first game or 2 in a best of 7 really is usually. But now you kind of have a whole day of that, because you got to play so many different teams and so many different games. So like realistically, I think Saudi Arabia I thought was going to be a lock for that top spot, but credit to the Netherlands. It looks like they're running away with it. They've given themselves a nice cushion. Belgium looked really good. And so I think it kind of seems to me like Spain and England and Germany are kind of all fighting for that last spot. So anything else you wanted to add? I guess let's do predictions on this. Which 4 teams do you think are going to make it out of Group A?
Ooh, okay. So I think Netherlands, Saudi are a lock. Not necessarily in that order. Order kind of hard to tell right now. I think. This is tough. Like these Belgium, Spain, England, those 3 right there. I don't think Germany makes it. I'll say that. So the 3 I got eliminated: Germany, Austria, South Africa. They, sorry, and welcome to the World Cup. Goodbye from the World Cup. But
here's your $5,500. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, here's your small check. Knock it out. I want to say this might be a little controversial.
So you are deciding between Spain, which is Atomic, EU Atomic, CRR, and Stizzy. You have England, which is Rise, Joyo, Archie. And the third one that you were... Yeah. So basically Spain, England, and then you have Belgium in there, which is Atau, Compact, and Astral.
I'm going to say the last 2 teams making out of Group A are going to be Belgium, and I'm going to say Spain.
Oh, interesting.
I think England just misses. I think it's going to come down to 1 point.
Okay. Like similar to how it is now?
Similar to how it is now. I think England's going to miss just barely.
Okay, fair. I, similar to you, also have the Netherlands, Saudi Arabia, Belgium, but I have England over Spain. I think the experience from Rise, from Joyo, are enough to carry them through. I think that they had an off day today, so really that I have to double check to find out when it is, but for England, that round 10 matchup between England and Spain could be the decider. That's a 6-point swing right there, right? If they win, but if they draw, then it's all up, all for grabs. So I think we will know pretty quickly tomorrow who it's going to be, but we will have to wait and see. Group B, in my opinion, the more exciting group, just because the team with the group of death, but the team that I have the most rooting interest in, Team USA, is in this group, and I will go through results first. We have Team France with 19 points in first. We have Brazil in second with 15 points. In third, Morocco with 12. In fourth, USA with 11. In fifth, Chile with 10. Sixth, Argentina with 5. 7, Turkey with 3. And 8, Portugal with 1. What are the biggest surprises that you got from Group B?
So there were a lot of unexpected results, along with very expected results in this one. France obviously just killed everybody. Like the only team that got close was Brazil, and even then, in their draw with Brazil, let me pull this up here. The score lines were 1-goal games. That was the closest series. Every other time, currently France has a plus 12 goal differential. They were beating teams on average by like 3 or 4 goals. It was absurd. I mean, they were locked in. They were ready. Brazil, they looked a little shaky at the start, right? They beat Argentina handily. They did just fine there, but then they draw to Turkey, and that's where everyone was like, okay, maybe Furia is not doing so good. Maybe they're not they're not locked in. I think the draw with Turkey kind of helped them reset, because they then went on a tear for the rest of the day, knocking off USA 2-0, Chile 2-0, Portugal 2-0. They did draw with Morocco, which is a pretty big draw there. Morocco, by the way, big on the draws. Morocco going 3-3-1. Also notably, USA in round 1 drawing with Morocco. Thank you, Sleeper Cell Spy Sathu, for that. But in all honesty, this is truly a group of death. I think it's gonna be similar in predictions of I know who my top 2 are a lock, but the 3, 4, 5 is gonna be a coin toss.
I think so too. I personally thought that Turkey was going to be. They're using a FIFA YouTuber who happens to be SSL, right, as their third player,
which is an insane thing.
So I expected them to be last with a bullet, right? Like no one was going to be close, but
yeah,
they steal a game off Brazil to get a tie there. They are able to get a tie off Argentina. They're able to get to get a tie with Portugal as well, and notably that's Portugal's only tie. Right, Portugal lost every other 2-round set. France looked as expected. When you're, and I'm going to say this extremely lightly, your, in quotes, weakest link is Vatira. That's ridiculous, because Vatira is the best player on most of these teams.
Yeah, it's a stupidly good team. It's not even fair at some points. You'll if you watch they play. If you watch them play, it is. It's like they're playing against kids. It's like college level team versus like your middle schoolers. It's just ridiculous.
It is. So, moving forward, right? We'll do predictions, and then we'll talk a little bit more about the U.S. because we both are from NA, we both are from the U.S., we both have rooting interest here. But predictions, and I'm fairly confident that we're going to be the same on this one. France 1, Brazil 2.
Yeah, unless Brazil implodes tomorrow and Morocco or USA ball out, I just don't see how France gets beaten first or Brazil gets beaten second.
Fair. Similarly speaking, I for third, and I'm not necessarily doing seeding. I'm just doing the teams that I think will make top 4. I think Morocco is the third one in there, and I think US is fourth. Maybe not necessarily in that order, but like I think that those two teams make it.
I have Morocco and USA as well. My issue here is all three of those teams, Morocco, United States, and Chile, have looked pretty inconsistent with their gameplay so far. Specifically Morocco. We expected Morocco to come in pretty confident with their play style and how they wanted to compete, and that was not the case. They looked shaky. None of their games looked like they, even when they had the win, nothing looked like, oh, these guys got in the bag, except for like a match against Turkey. Everything looked a little close and like they could have crumbled at any moment. So it'll be interesting to see which of those three teams kind of like settle back in and get things going. I think Morocco and USA have the edge purely because of coaches and just the chemistry they already have built. Right, USA's RMC, former LG roster, now Gen G. Morocco is essentially, you got Sathia at the helm there, who is one of the greatest coaches of all time, and you have Itachi, Nas, and Drali. A Moroccan heavyweight team right there. Like those guys are an insane trio, and I imagine they have definitely played together at some point. So, I would say Chile's on the outside looking in here.
I think so too. However, it is imperative tomorrow that the U.S. makes the most of their matches, right? So you got a round 8 matchup with Morocco, followed up with Argentina, which you should beat Argentina. You should beat Portugal. You should beat Turkey, right? Like you have to win those 3.
Yep.
So then that leaves your, trying to get as many points as possible out of Morocco, Brazil, and France. I don't think they beat France. Alyssa, I would agree with you. I think they're in a class of their own. I think France wins the whole thing, personally. Brazil has looked good, but beatable, right? Turkey took a game off of them. They were pissed, but...
Furious. I don't know if you heard after that series with Turkey where Brazil drew, right? They were talking about on the cast how the series is over. Turkey got up to walk over and go shake hands. Furious shook their hands without getting up from their chair and immediately locked into free play. Not even a second thought. They were on to the next series, ready to go, which was just insane. Like an insane mental, just be like, whatever, and immediately go in the next one.
For sure. So I think really what it ends up coming down to is because I think both the US and Chile both lose to France.
Yep.
And most likely they both lose to Brazil. So
most likely I could see draws happening in that series depending on what Brazil team shows.
This is true. However, I think the most likely scenario is that Brazil comes in and wins, but so that makes their round 14 matchup against Chile that much more important. And before
the match,
yeah, that might be the decider for top 4, and also that makes your matchup against
Morocco
pretty
important too.
Almost a must win.
So for USA, your first and last match of the day is your most important one. That is tough.
Yeah, and like we said, like anything could happen, right? Like Chile could come out and have an incredible day, and more. You need to win more of these years, or they could come out and they could lay an egg, right? And like that's like these are long days. These are a lot of matches for these players. That's anything can happen. So, but I think we're both on the same page in terms of predictions, in terms of who we would like to play. I think there's a world where Team USA ends up in that 3rd spot. But
yeah, there is a possibility. It's gonna be France 1, Brazil 2, most likely, and then it's Morocco, USA, Chile going 3-4. I I want to say Morocco 3, USA 4. I'm going to keep it there.
I think so
Oh
too.
my word.
That's where I got it too. But I also have to point out, so Chile player Davitrox is a keyboard player. Let me
Keyboard.
let me reiterate for the people who didn't quite understand that: not keyboard and mouse, just keyboard.
I've seen him before, but you don't see him that often at pro play, and he's just sitting there. Don't need a mouse, just keyboard. Which I imagine his keybinds are some form of period is boost and like question mark is flip or to some other regard like that. That's usually the most common when I've seen people just use keyboards. So it's cool to see. I love seeing like KBM players or keyboard players in the pro scene. You know, we're a rare breed at this point.
Almost extinct.
Almost. I don't think we will ever go extinct, but we're gonna just keep sitting at that threshold.
Fair. But the last thing I want to touch on FIFAe before we move on here is your thoughts on the event so far. So the kind of the things that have stood out to me so far are the format with the not best of two, but like 2 game rounds. Like they do all the player entrances at the beginning of the group. Everybody has their own booth, and they all kind of sit on stage the whole time. And the last 2 kind of points that I have are the heart rate monitors and the broadcast talent. So what kind of sticks out to you, or what are your thoughts so far on what we've seen?
I was a little skeptical at first with the format. Obviously, this is a very big change compared to the Swiss stages that we used to have. But I love this. It kind of ties us back into the normal soccer or football, as some countries will call it, feel where you can have draws, and it's going to come down to like, hey, if we can just take a game off of this opponent, that can make or break our playoff run. That can make or break us in the group stage. And I like having that aspect to it. It's fun. It makes things interesting. It makes even those games where it's like, oh, this should be a blowout, right? This team should win game 1 and game 2 4-0, 5-0. It adds that just extra level of, well, what if they come out slow and they do take a game off? Now this is a huge thing, right? That's a point. You the other team only gets a point, and now they may be screwed. So I am very quickly becoming a fan of this format. Would love to continue to see this format in the future. The stage and the atmosphere look fantastic. Like from what I've seen from social media and the Twitch stream, the way they have it set up in almost like a battle royale format, like everyone facing the circle, looks really cool. So props to the venue for setting the bar right, which is nice. And I'm excited to see how they do playoffs as well.
Yeah, me too. I think that there's a lot of things that RLCS can steal from these events, from these Saudi events especially. I think the heart rate monitor is a phenomenal addition. That's awesome to see.
Oh, it's so funny. I love it.
Like you can tell for some games, like all 3 players peak at the same spot, and you're like, oh, that's when they had that goal line save, or like that's when they this person hit this double touch and they like almost got it. Like it's very easy to tell like what's going on and what's happening through that, and it's interesting to see like they did Team USA for one of them, and Cheese was the lowest heart rate. I'm like, the way Cheese comms, I thought that his heart rate would be like 7,000, right? But like it's cool to see. I think that's awesome. I think having them all face the center stage is really cool. I think the music choice has been really good for the really intense music throughout. I think that the 2-game series is a breath of fresh air. Like I certainly like the best of 5 or best of 7 format. However, for upset and for storyline purposes, this is fantastic. Turkey taking a game, huge, right? Especially over a team like Brazil. That's enormous for a team like Turkey. But, I think that everything will even out in the end just because of how many matches you do play. So I think it's a good stray from the norm. And I'd love to see the esports world, like the FIFA World Cup, continue on in, it would be every 4 years. I don't know if it's every 4 years like it would be for the regular World Cup, but like if Rocket League continues to be involved, then that would be awesome. Like just to have this format to look forward to every time, I think would be really cool. But I definitely can see them moving heart rate monitors into lands for RLCS and CRL in the future. I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Also, last thing, breath of fresh air to see Achieves back on the analyst desk.
So glad to have him.
I think they're doing a fantastic job. I think the interviews have been like the on stage interviews have been really good. I think Hercules and James Bot on the cast together as a duo have been really good in my opinion, and I like the way that they've kind of allowed them to have a little bit more creative freedom. They were talking about maybe the only weird thing is only the main cast has casters, so like you can watch all the matches at one time, but only the main stream is getting casted. So maybe adding some form of casters or something to the other streams would be nice for people who want to follow along with their regions team and not just see like each match that they have on stage or on the mainstream going on. But, I think that for the most part, this has been a phenomenally run event so far, and I can't wait to see what they have in store for tomorrow and for the weekend as a whole. But anything else you want to add on FIFA E before we jump over to everyone's favorite section?
I got nothing here.
Okay, well, time to hit it.
Alrighty. So, we don't got a lot today, but we still got some news. We still got some rumors and some confirmed scene changes for some people. The organization Ninjas in Pajamas, formerly based out of South America.
Yes.
Maybe?
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yes.
Plan to head to Europe for the 2025 season, with their eyes currently set on acquiring Oski, Nas, and Itachi. Nothing is confirmed yet. This is just talks, but they do plan on competing in EU with a roster. Staying EU, Gentlemates have finally announced their new and completed roster with Juicy, Seiko, and former Vitality member Radosin. Should be a solid EU team. I definitely could see them easily competing for that top 4 spot, as always with Gentlemates. Along with Gentlemates, during their announcement of this team, there was an actual rumor and potential confirmation of RLCS Worlds 2025 being in France. This was brought up by Gentlemates. His name is Squeezy. During their live stream announcement of announcing their new roster, it was kind of leaked essentially that Worlds was coming to France. Don't know where in France, but the current general assumption is it's going to be in France, which I think we can all agree it's about time.
Long overdue.
Even for us Americans, it's about time we have a land in France. We need to see the blue wall. We need to see the green suits. We need to see the whole 9 yards. We need to see everybody.
So then, if we're going based on last season, that means we probably got a major one in we do have a major one in EU. Then that means probably major 2 NA, probably Worlds EU.
I would imagine that would be the case. So,
not confirmed. None of this is confirmed.
This is the rumor section.
Well, major 1 has been confirmed, but other than that,
major. Yeah.
Sorry.
Moving on though, with some more EU-ish news. This is EU or NA. Apparently, Jack is teaming up with Joryus and Stizzy with coach Violet Panda. Talks with the organization Dignitas are still continuing, but the team is exploring their options in both North America and Europe. So it'll be interesting to see where they land. Obviously, would love to keep them in North America, especially with Joryus still being on the team. So, will he finally break the Swiss merchant curse, or will they actually make it past top 8?
The great white shark.
It'd be a fun storyline. Another region transfer, this time probably the most unexpected region transfer to hear about. Rise is expected to region transfer to MENA. That's right, you heard me, MENA, the Middle East, to compete with Nuepo under the Twisted Minds banner. I gotta be honest, KQ was not on the bingo card. You could have told me that this was gonna happen. I would have called you a liar. Cause, wow.
Well, it's been rumored that Rise was going to move to NA like back when version 1 existed, and then he didn't. And then people were like, "Ooh, maybe this is the year." Nope. He went the opposite direction.
Went as far as possible as he could have, besides going to APAC. Like, good lord.
I am also intrigued as to
who that third's gonna be,
and also what language they're gonna come in.
Oh yeah, because don't think Nuepo knows English or yeah.
That's really more what I'm thinking of, because that also might, because if it's French, totally get it. That Rise speaks French, that's fine. He speaks English, that's fine. Maybe he's gonna learn Arabic.
It's a hell of a language to learn.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But Nuepo is from Saudi Arabia. He's in Saudi Arabia. I don't know.
I mean, there's still some time before the season starts, so maybe he's been taking some, doing some Duolingo behind the scenes. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, no kidding.
Continuing on, another region transfer. Luminosity, the organization itself, is moving to APAC. And they'll be picking up the team of ZPS, Sosa, and Spinks. So that's another. This one's an interesting one because that entire roster is 3 different regions.
Also, real quick, Google and Liquipedia say that based on information available, Nuepo primarily speaks Arabic, as he's from the Middle East and from Saudi Arabia. He likely speaks English fluently.
Well, likely. Okay. I didn't know that. All right.
Nor did I. Sorry. Didn't mean to derail that. I went down the rabbit hole.
That's good to know. That's good to know. But yeah, so this Luminosity roster is an interesting one. A former CRL menace himself, Sosa, now RLCS Bubble Pro, along with ZPS and Spinks, all 3 players coming from 3 different regions going to APAC. I don't remember if I read that they were actually moving to the APAC region or not. I would assume they are.
So Spinks is from Malaysia, so is and will stay APAC. ZPS from Mexico, Sosa from the US.
Okay, I would imagine.
I believe they are in region.
Okay, I figured as much. So Luminosity, we'll miss you here in NA, but best of luck at APAC. And then, I believe that's all I got. It's a short roster rumors, but we did have some bombs dropped, some rumor bombs dropped. Can't say truth bombs necessarily, but anything crazy stand out there to you, KQ? Anything I'm missing?
Well, I can't say that I had Rise moving over to Mina. I think that's wildly unexpected, though. He continues his tour of people that of teams to switch to. He's running out of EU teams to switch to, so I had to try something different. But based on the current RLCS format, if he plays Mina, he has to stay Mina.
Yep.
Which is wild.
Is it stay for the rest of your region time, or is it just for the season? I don't remember.
If you compete in one of the qualifiers in one region, you can only play in that region for the entire season.
Okay, it's just for this. That's what I thought. Which it makes sense if he's competing for Mina. Spend the year there. If it works, great. Stay there. If it doesn't, I'm sure Rise will pull a Rise and. Maybe he'll actually come to North America. Maybe he'll go further east to APAC,
Or SAM, or South America, or South Africa, or
bro's out here collecting. Got to catch them all, but this time it's countries.
Yeah, no kidding. So, again, these are just the rumors that we've heard about or that we've seen. I'm sure that there will be more. I'm sure that things will heat up, especially after the World Cup, especially after more information comes out from Epic, Blast, Psyonix about timing of events, of all that of all that kind of stuff. So don't be surprised if you see a lot more shakeups before the season starts next month. But I am intrigued to see what happens the rest of the way. I'm getting up early tomorrow to watch the rest of the games. I'm excited to kind of see what happens. This is a cool format, different. It's something very different than what we've seen before. And I guess the last thing I'll bring up before we end for today is I really just don't understand if your country comes calling how you don't answer the bell. You know?
I'm sorry, I kind of blanked out there.
I said, like, if your country comes calling, I don't know how you don't answer the bell.
Yeah, obviously we don't know everything
Yeah,
from behind the scenes.
no shade to the players that declined the invite, but like at the same time, like I can't imagine a world where, you know, I'm not a professional Rocket League player. That's a shock to everybody I know, but like if USA came and said, "Hey, we want you to represent us," I'm like, "Yep, when do I go?" Like, bags are packed. Let's go. I just, you know, me personally, right? So no shade to the players that didn't go, but like, you know, and no shade to the new Captain America and to RMC, but you know, that is not the best team that North America could have sent, that the US could have sent.
I agree, but hey, it's what we got now. So, Captain America, go kick some ass.
Hell yeah! But anything else you want to add on FIFA E, on the free play update, on roster rumors, on anything before we wrap up for today?
All good here.
Awesome. Well, with that, we would like to thank everyone so much for listening. We'd like to remind everyone to please follow us on Twitter, Instagram, join our Discord, and rate us 5 stars wherever you listen to podcasts. Tell a friend, share the show. It really helps us grow our audience. Also, check out our Twitch, our TikTok, our Blue Sky, and our merch store. All of these links and more can be found on our website, boostoverball.com. And from us here on the show, as always, remember to choose Boost over Ball.
Thanks for listening to the Boost Over Ball podcast. Make sure to check out our website at boostoverball.com.